everyone. Welcome back and welcome to this week's episode. I have been doing this YouTube channel for, I think 2 years. I think it's 2 years in August. And somebody recently said, well, tell us more about you, Carolyn. So that's what this video is all about. I've got, I think, 10 things that I'm going to tell you about me. Maybe you didn't know, maybe you do know from all these 2 years of videos. But that's what the topic is, 10 things more about me. So the first thing about me is that I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I grew up in the Pocono Mountains. I went to school on a lake, and the lake was called Lake Wallenpaupack, and it was really, really in the country. And it was not one of my best moments in time living in that environment because I had moved, obviously with my family, from a city, from New York City, into the Pocono Mountains, and it was a real culture shock. I often think about how quiet and content it was, and I would love that now, but it's always easy to look backwards. But I grew up in Pennsylvania. Next on my list is I prefer to drive a manual car, a stick shift car. And why I bring this up is I'm on the market now to buy a car, and I don't know about you ladies, but it is the worst thing that I can think of going to do. I actually would prefer to go to the dentist. I think it's an awful thing, and I think women, sadly, are so abused when you're purchasing a car. I would love to know your thoughts on that below. And what I've determined is I am looking online for a car. I'm going to buy a car online, and there's a company here in the United States called Carvana. I'm going to press a few buttons, send the money to them, and they're going to deliver my car. I'm going to test drive the car. I'm going to sign the forms, and that's it, over and done with. No hours upon hours upon hours negotiating the price. I just don't want to do it. I'm just going to get a car online. If you've watched some of my videos, you know that I am a vegan. And I have been a vegan for, I think about 8 or 9 years. The reason why I went down that journey was I was taking a family member to a Chinese doctor, a Chinese acupuncturist and Chinese medicine doctor. And there was a waiting room for people, and within that waiting room there was a library of books. And so I started reading a book, and I'll put that book right over here. And it was called The China Syndrome, and it fascinated me on the importance of what we eat. I knew it because previous to this, I have not really I haven't eaten red meat since the 1980s, so there you can see how old I am. So I haven't eaten meat since the 80s, and then when I read this book, The China Syndrome, it really got me thinking further. I will advise you, if you're thinking of changing a diet, and that The China Syndrome is a very, very good book to start off that journey. Another tidbit about me is before I went away to college, I worked in New York City, and I actually worked in the World Trade Center as a bank teller in the Bank of Tokyo. And I did that for, 8 or 9 months to save some money so that when I went away to college. And that's a whole other story. If you're interested in knowing about my education, just let me know in the comment box below, and I'll add that onto my next video.
And here's another thing about me that maybe you didn't know. I love to swim, and I'm sort of out of breath because I've just been swimming, and as you can see, I swim in a swimming pool because I have to take off my glasses and I can't really see to swim in the ocean because goodness knows where I would end up. I've been swimming since I learned how to swim in the YMCA when I was 9, and then when I got into my 30s, I really just continued to swim. And I can swim, obviously I swim inside, but I prefer to swim outside, and that's just one of the luxuries of living here in South Florida. So another thing, I love to swim.
So next on my list is I love skincare. And I love what I deem good skincare. Expensive. And I'm under no illusion that so much of it has got to do with marketing. but it feeds my soul. I surround myself with things that I love. Part of my ethos of a simple life. Skincare is one of those. And what I'm using now is Solthese. And I really like this serum, and I really like this face cream. There we go. Then, truth be told, I would prefer to buy skincare rather than a pair of shoes. And I know that is just completely off the charts, but I would prefer to spend my money. And that's a fact. I have two pets. I have Hennrietta. She's a red-eared slider turtle. I've had her for over 21 years, and she is named after my grandfather's sister. And then, of course, you probably have seen Miss Evie, who is a Chihuahua mix, and I've had her for about 4 years. And as you can see, the two sisters love each other. So, day 2. So, as you can see, I love to read. And I have all my books organized into categories, so to speak. And they are by author. I know that's weird, but yeah, that's what I have. And so these here are I call my head books. They're growth books. I also have a selection of books on France that I love reading. I just have something about France that's very interesting to me. But one of my favorite types of books to read is about the French Resistance and all the resistance movements during World War II. I have no idea where that came from, but I really, really love books of spies and resistance and all that happened during World War II. And which leads me on to my penultimate like, and that is, let me get here, and that is, I love international foreign films, and I love the movies with the subtitles. I think it's because I figure in my mind I am not wasting my time watching a movie because I'm reading. I know, again, silly as it may seem. And I love Scandinavian thrillers. They're really good. They're usually not too bloody. And there is a production company called Yellowbird that is very, very good. So if you ever get a chance to watch a Scandinavian film and it's Yellowbird, I would highly recommend it. And finally, number 10 on the list is I have been an entrepreneur most of my life. I have worked as a realtor for over 20 years in South Florida, thus the gray hair. And during this time, I've also designed and manufactured handbags. I've traded the U.S. stock market. I've owned a souvenir store, actually just down the road a piece on Hollywood Beach. So I've always done something along those lines of being by myself because I really don't like working for anyone else. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing, quite stressful. But at the end of the day, I'm very, very pleased with what has happened. I've been able to do these videos as a result of that. And that wraps up the 10 things about me that maybe you didn't know. Now, if you like this video, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe. Where am I going to put it? Right there. And until next week, I wish everyone a good week. Stay well, stay safe. Toodles. So back at the desk, that's my complete wardrobe. Or if you've been watching this channel for a while, if you've been following me, you know that I wear a uniform, and I'll put links to somewhere up there to a video that I did that's caught a lot of attention, and it might just explain everything to you a bit further. But I like wearing black and white, and it's interesting, on a side note, commercial break, I like black and white. I like the classic styles. And black and white, I tend to see things and analyze things either black or white, one way or the other. And so the black and white actually suits my personality. It's not that I'm colorblind. It's just that I see things either one way or another. And I know that that's not right. I'm trying to see gray and see differences. But I'm working on that. And who knows, maybe I'll add another color into my wardrobe, into my uniform. Time will tell.